On behalf of the Jordan Strategy Forum and the GIZ implemented Green Action in Enterprises, or GAIN project, it gives us pleasure to welcome you here today to this very timely event, allowing us really to reflect a year on the diverse journeys of integrating ESG for business success, focusing on lessons learned from implementation. My name is Shada Al-Sharif, and I'm the founder and senior advisor at Sustain MENA. I've had the pleasure to contribute to the green economy, climate, and sustainability space in Jordan over the past 2 decades, where important progress has been made both in the policy and business contexts. The ESG framework represents an opportunity for shared value creation and a roadmap for businesses to contribute to sustainable development nationally and globally, while increasing their competitiveness. We will hear perspectives today from Jordan, the region, and beyond, and we really look forward to your active engagement. First off, please allow me to welcome Her Excellency Nasreen Barakat, the CEO of the Jordan Strategy Forum, for her opening remarks. Your Excellency.
أسعد الله صباحكم بكل الخير والمحبة. السيدات والسادة الحضور الكرام، إحنا في عنا ترانسليشن، فإذا حدا بحب ياخد الأوديو. أرحب بكم وبضيوفنا الكرام والمشاركين من الخبراء والمختصين في هاي الجلسة الهامة. اليوم نجتمع لمناقشة أثر ممارسات البيئة والممارسات البيئية والاجتماعية وحوكمة الشركات على أعمال الشركات، تلك الممارسات التي تتجاوز حقيقة القطاعات والحدود. ففي مواجهة التحديات العالمية كتحدي المناخ وعدم المساواة الاجتماعية، تأتي ممارسات الاستدامة كإطار عملي يساعد الشركات على تحقيق النمو المستدام والتأثير الإيجابي في المجتمعات، علاوة على فتح الأسواق الجديدة وتعزيز الربحية. وهذا بدوره يعمل على إحداث نقلة نوعية في عالم الأعمال، حيث تعد الاهتمامات البيئية والمسؤولية الاجتماعية والحوكمة الرشيدة ممارسات أساسية لنجاح الأعمال على المدى الطويل. ويعتبر دمج ممارسات الاستدامة في استراتيجيات وعمليات الشركات أمراً ضرورياً لتعزيز مرونتها على المدى الطويل والتخفيف من المخاطر المحيطة بها، وإطلاق العنان أيضاً لفرص الابتكار والنمو. كما أن تبني ممارسات الاستدامة لا يعزز من سمعة الشركات وعلامتها التجارية فقط، بل أيضاً يجذب الاستثمار المؤثر الذي يعطي الأولوية للممارسات المتعلقة بالاستدامة. نحن في منتدى الاستراتيجيات الأردني فخورين جداً برحلتنا نحو زيادة الوعي حول مفاهيم الاستدامة وتعزيز تبني شركات القطاع الخاص لها وممارساتها ضمن أعمالها. وقد تميزت رحلتنا بإنجازات هامة، بما في ذلك نشر ورقة شاملة سلطت الضوء على تبني معايير الاستدامة للشركات وتعزيز التكامل فيما بينها عبر مختلف القطاعات. ولقاؤنا اليوم يعتبر حجر أساس في جهودنا المشتركة لتسريع التحول الأخضر في الأردن، من خلال الربط ما بين النظام البيئي للاقتصاد الأخضر والدور التحويلي لمبادئ الاستدامة البيئية والاجتماعية وحوكمة الشركات في هذا المجال. هدفنا واضح: تسليح أنفسنا بالمعرفة والاستراتيجيات الفعالة والروح التشاركية اللازمة لدفع التغيير المستدام وتعزيز مستقبل مرن ومزدهر لأمتنا. يشرفنا بشكل خاص أن نتقدم بالشكر لمتحدثين الرئيسيين في لقائنا اليوم والمشاركين الخبراء في الجلسة الحوارية. بداية ستقدم لنا بورصة عمان مشكورة من خلال رئيسها التنفيذي والدكتورة رشد ديات لمحة سريعة عن انطباعاتها حول تقارير الاستدامة، والتي أصبحت إلزامية للشركات العشرين الأولى المدرجة في بورصة عمان، وهي خطوة مهمة نحو تعزيز الشفافية والمساءلة في أسواقنا المالية. بالإضافة إلى ذلك سيشاركنا المتحدثون المتميزون من القطاع الخاص في كل من قطاعات الاتصالات والتعدين والبنوك رحلتهم في إعداد تقارير الاستدامة وتقديم جل معارفهم وخبراتهم في كيفية دمج مبادئ الاستدامة في الأطر التنظيمية والاستراتيجية لمؤسساتهم وأثر ذلك كله على أعمالهم. إن وجودهم معنا اليوم يؤكد على التزامهم الثابت بقيادة التغيير الإيجابي نحو تعزيز مسؤولية الشركات. بكل فخر هذه الشركات الرائدة هي عضو في منتدى الاستراتيجيات الأردني، وتمثل قيم التميز والالتزام الذي يتمسك به جميع أعضاء المنتدى. لن يقتصر الحوار اليوم على الأردن كما ذكرت زميلتي شدى، بل سنتطرق أيضاً إلى أفضل الممارسات العالمية وطرق التنفيذ الناجح لممارسات الاستدامة البيئية والاجتماعية وحوكمة الشركات، من خلال بعض الإضاءات التي سيعطيها الدكتور هارالد الخبير الرائد في الاستدامة ودورها في تعزيز الأعمال. وقبل المضي قدما أود أن أتقدم أيضا بالشكر الجزيل إلى مشروع تعزيز الأنشطة الخضراء على دعمهم الثابت وتعاونهم معنا في تنظيم هذا اللقاء، وهذا ما يعكس اهتمامهم في تعزيز تبني الممارسات المستدامة في الشركات والتحول نحو الاقتصاد الأخضر. كما أود أيضاً أن أعرب عن خالص امتناننا وشكرنا لرعاة هذه الجلسة من أعضاء المنتدى المسؤولين البنك الأردني الكويتي وشركة الاتصالات أورنج. شكراً لدعمكم المستمر للمنتدى وإيمانكم بأهمية هذه اللقاءات. وأخيراً أدعوكم جميعاً للمشاركة الفاعلة معنا بحوار اليوم، فالعمل المشترك يضمن أن تصبح ممارسة الاستدامة متأصلة في أعمالنا للوصول إلى مستقبل لا تكون فيه الاستدامة مجرد هدف بل أيضاً حقيقة وواقع. شكراً لحضوركم واستماعكم.
Thank you, Your Excellency, for setting the scene for today's event and for those comprehensive and inspiring remarks. I would now like to welcome from the Amman Stock Exchange His Excellency Mr. Mazen Wadaifi, the CEO, and Dr. Rashidiyat, Director of Planning and Institutional Development Department at the Amman Stock Exchange, to shed light on the developments in ESG and sustainability reporting by companies listed at the Stock Exchange. Please, Mr. Wadaifi, welcome.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Sabah al-Khair. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, Your Excellencies, distinguished guests. Allow me first to welcome you and thank the Jordan Strategy Forum for inviting the Amman Stock Exchange to address this distinguished gathering on a very important topic. And I'm delighted actually to be here with you, and also thank you very much for being with us this morning. This event is a continuation of mutual efforts to enhance the culture of sustainability and ESG in our country, since businesses and economies are increasingly embracing sustainability and ESG practices in response to the growing recognition of their strategic importance and to position themselves for future development. It is essential for long-term success, and the financial impact and effect of these practices has increasingly become clear and pronounced. This has led investors and businesses and policymakers to request additional data from issuers in order to effectively assess ESG and sustainability-related information. Risk, to assess information, risk and opportunities, and price this information in the market or value creation. Global financial markets are taking steps toward integrating sustainability and ESG-related information, risks, opportunities into pricing mechanisms and value creation, as we just mentioned, which has become a global trend to align finance and investment policy with ESG and sustainability goals. This trend continued to amplify the demand for consistent, comparable, and transparent, standardized also, disclosures of related information, and this has led to the need for greater education and training on how to use and disclose such data and information. We at the Amman Stock Exchange, our journey towards sustainability practices and spreading culture of sustainability and ESG. We have recognized from the very beginning the significance and importance role of stock exchanges in reporting related, comparable, consistent, and standardized information, in addition to promoting culture, capacity building, training, and education, and mainstream sustainable finance in the economy and financial sector. In light of this, and as part of our efforts to implement and to comply with international standards and best practices with the aim to enhance the investment climate in the market and in the economy, and also enhance the attractiveness of our Jordanian national companies for local and external investors. So sustainability and sustainability reporting have become one of the key drivers for investors. We at the Amman Stock Exchange, ASE, have created a multi-stakeholders partnership with our stakeholders, mainly regulators, listed companies, market intermediaries, external auditors, and international institutions, including the International Finance Corporation, IFC, the UNDP, the Jordan Chapter for UN Global Compact, Social Value International, to build a sustainable business approach and culture. We have made remarkable strides towards achieving this goal. We have joined the UN Sustainable Stock Exchanges, the UNSSE, issued an introductory publication as guidance on sustainability reporting in both Arabic and English, and issued guidance for listed companies to prepare their sustainability reports with information on the importance of sustainability. We have held a number of educational and training programs for our employees and for those of the ASC listed companies, in addition to holding seminars for the CEOs of these listed companies. New provisions have been added to directives for listing securities obligated listed companies to provide the ASC with an annual sustainability reports, which must be prepared in accordance with the ASC requirements. Knowing that these requirements have been determined according to a set of rules regulating the filing of sustainability reports with the ASC, mainly the compliance with the Global Reporting Initiative, the GRI. Accordingly, all ASE 20 listed companies issued their 2022 and 2023 sustainability reports. And as a lead example, the ASC has started to issue its sustainability report starting from 2020. We have joined the Refinitiv and Arab Federation of Capital Markets Index for low carbon companies. And this came as a recognition that from global provider of financial market data that our capital market and Jordanian companies are not lagging behind in this regard. We have launched, in cooperation with the IFC, an initiative to issue a guidance, a climate change reporting guidance to enhance the awareness and culture of climate change reporting in the capital market of Jordan. The ASC was the first in the region and the fifth worldwide to issue such an initiative. The guidance was recently prepared and posted on our website and sent to our major stakeholders to solicit comments and feedback. As a recognition also of the ASC work on sustainability, we chair the ESC working group at the Federation of European Asian Stock Exchanges. We've been last week invited to chair also the UNSSE working group on sustainability. I have to mention that sustainability is one of the pillars of the economic modernization vision document, and the green economy is one of the drivers, of its drivers. Also, an important step, the CBJ, the Central Bank of Jordan, has launched its green finance strategy with the aim to mobilize and enhance resilience against climate-related environmental factors and enable Jordan to become a regional leader in sustainable finance. We truly believe that adopting sustainable practices and investing in innovative, sustainable Jordan will be a strong contributor to a better world of future. This is well aligned with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, the SDGs. I would like to thank you again and say that your attendance will send a strong message as business leaders and elites, and that will also, we are keen and eager to move forward to achieve our common goals and take our market, our institutions, and our beloved country to a better future and to higher levels. Thank you again, and thanks to our host, the Jordan Strategy Forum, for their continued efforts and partnership with national institutions to achieve our higher national goals and achieve better future for our country. May Allah Almighty protect our beloved country and guide us to the best of the country under the wise leadership of His Majesty King Abdullah ibn Hussein. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Thank you, Your Excellency, for those remarks and really demonstrating the Amman Stock Exchange's leadership really in advancing the ESG file in Jordan. I would like now to welcome Dr. Rashidiyat, the Director of Planning and Institutional Development Department at the Amman Stock Exchange, for a very exciting presentation. Thank you.
Good morning, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests. First of all, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to the Jordan Strategy Forum for inviting ASE to this important event. And it is my honor to be here and to have the opportunity to share ASE's experience and journey in sustainability. Okay, I would like to present. Where can I have it? Like this? Okay. I don't want to repeat what Mr. Mazins has already mentioned about ASE's journey. We already started, but in a nutshell, that we already started our journey and as one of our projects in the strategic plan, that we have a project to enforce ASE 20 companies to issue their sustainability report. And after that, we started the journey, starting from the workshops, webinars, raising awareness for ASE 20 companies, and then ended by, it's not ended, it's still continuous, but the end of this project was that all ASE 20 companies, excuse me, issued their sustainability report. After that, we have already launched our initiative with the IFC to issue the guidance about the climate change. Now, regarding this point, we have already started our work with ASE in cooperation with IFC and EY to have some interviews with the ASE 20 companies regarding the sustainability, their practices, and the climate change, and raise awareness among this initiative. And we already had this kind of interview and had some questions. From these questions, I would like to give you some points, some important points about what these companies have answered and what is really important to be discussed, and what are the key takeaways and lessons learned, and what we have to do in the future. So I will present some of the questions that we have already interviewed some companies, or all ASE 20 companies. The first one was that what is the existence of ESG committee in the governance structure? Well, about 10 participants. When I say participants, I mean that companies, 10 companies mentioned that they have an established that they have an established ESG level committee in the ESG were described as management level, not CEO level. We're talking here about management level, and comprised of members from various departments, not specific department in ESG, from various departments, including risk management. And regarding the C-level involvement in ESG, environmental sustainability issued, 8 participants, 8 companies mentioned, have confirmed that a member of the C-level management team is accountable for ESG performance. So therefore, we are in need to have this committee and to have this, to spread the awareness even in the C-level management and in the C-level companies. The second one was, how regularly does your company report on its environmental efforts, and how have ASE's guidelines? Of course, we have already issued published our guidelines and sustainability guidance in cooperation with UNDP and Social Value International, and it's already on our website. For sustainability reporting affected the way your company operates. Well, first of all, we have the ASE 20 companies. The percentage of issuing their sustainability reports is 100% in the 2 years, for 2 years, 2022 and 2023. And they already, some of them mentioned that they have already issued their sustainability, for example, since 10 years. And some others have said that they already, that the guidance or the guidelines help them to issue their sustainability report. How has sustainability reporting added value to your organization? And this is really important for our companies because of that, and we have to concentrate on these main points. And because of that, this can raise the awareness among all companies, not just ASE 20, and this is our target, to how to spread the awareness among all ASE 20 companies. Of course, they have mentioned that it might bring them new investment opportunities, and because international investors look for ESG disclosures, what are companies doing regarding regarding sustainability, and implementing any initiative that is related to sustainability. Reduced business risk, because they can be aware of what are the risks that that they can mitigate in their business. To assess environmental and socio-economic concerns has resulted in lower business risk. Also, regulatory compliance, because they have already, as implementing the ASE requirements regarding sustainability. Increased investor confidence, as we said, it might be reflect to have more investment opportunities and reputational gains. This might affect their reputational gains. And this is really important because during our work with some of the companies, we found that some companies have already implemented so many initiatives and so many programs that might be considered in their sustainability report before writing their sustainability report, and they should raise these points. Therefore, after writing these initiatives and document these initiatives, that might bring new investors, and it will be really important for them to be mentioned. What are the main skills the company is looking to develop? And this is really important for all CEOs to consider, and all companies should consider for ESG, for implementing ESG. The first thing, sustainability strategy development, because we found that many companies, they don't have a strategy, a specific strategy for sustainability. Reporting and disclosure, it's really important because they need to know. Some companies, from our experience, we found that some companies at the beginning, when they started to issue their sustainability report, they have some initiatives, but they can't write what do we have to write. So we had some kind of webinars, workshops, to let them know what are the main important points that they should write in their sustainability reports. Risk management and analysis, waste management and recycling programs, and this is important for our climate change disclosure, which they should consider also, and sustainable supply chain management. And last thing, which we all know, that some of the companies have already started implementing these initiatives, which is green product development and life cycle assessment, which is consistent with the CBJ green finance strategy. As I told you, that there are some main points that we already found during our webinars and workshops and practicing and let's say interviewing these companies. We found that some companies have already implemented some initiatives, as I said, on sustainability, but they didn't write their sustainability reports. That was before starting their sustainability reports. Some companies issued their sustainability reports to comply with the ASE requirements. For the first year, which is required for ASE 20 companies to issue their sustainability report, the first year, they issued their sustainability report with the support of consulting firms. However, they did it by themselves after that. So the first year, they asked for assistance from consulting firms to write. After that, they do it by themselves. A change in the mindset. This is really important for all of us. A change in the mindset is needed when writing the sustainability reports. By focusing on the impact, that's what we all need, on the impact, not just writing a report. That's what we all need, is to focus on the impact itself. Some key takeaway. We have importance, some points that we have to consider. The importance of ESG integration. Integrating ESG factors into business strategies is no longer optional. It should be mandatory for all companies. That will have an effect for attracting investment. Data quality and reliability. Accurate and reliable data is crucial for effective sustainability reporting. Again, focus on the impact, not just writing the report. Continuous improvement. companies must commit to continuous improvement, not just focus on just one report. That's what we have. That's what we do. We should have more initiatives, more changes to have more impact on our society, on our environment. Also, investor attraction, as we said, education and training, this is continuous for all of us, because every day we have new principles, new international standards that we should apply and be consistent with all these international standards. Lessons learned. We have enhanced writing the sustainability report and implementing the initiatives of ESG will enhance transparency and accountability. And sustainability has significantly increased transparency and accountability among companies. And there's something that we should mention, which we have at ASE. We know that all companies should disclose all their related information, of course, financial and non-financial information. And we use that by XBRL system, which is extensible business reporting language, which is an electronic disclosure system. So all companies issue their sustainability report and upload their sustainability report by using this system. So it will be available for everyone to increase the transparency and enhance the transparency for everyone. So it's available. And regulatory compliance, which we already said that they already issue their sustainability report to implement ASE's requirement. Stakeholder engagement, and this is one of the important points that we should consider also. Effective communication of sustainability practices builds trust and strengthens relationships among all stakeholders. Performance improvement, they keep improving their initiatives, they're implementing the ESG. Risk management, as we said, is one of the most important things that we should consider also, because they will become better equipped to anticipate and mitigate potential risks. Benchmarking and competitiveness, they compare with other peers from other companies, same sectors, industry, and they can improve their sustainability metrics. The way forward, this is last thing that we have. Standardization and harmonization, adapt global standards, encourage the adoption of globally recognized sustainability reporting frameworks, such as we have GRI, we have SASB, we have TCFD, we have ISSB. All these things we will consider in the future. And especially now, we have the climate change disclosure initiative that we are implementing. And by the way, we are moving forward regarding launching this guidance, which is really important, of course, in cooperation also with IFC and EY. And we will also have some interviews to also raise awareness among the ASE 20 companies. Enhance data quality and verification, integration ESG into core business strategy. Again, this is really important. I really have to mention it. I really have to focus and concentrate on this point, which is we should include the ESG strategy in the company's strategy. Stakeholder engagement and communication, capacity building and training, continuous capacity building and training, collaboration, incorporate emerging topics. I will not go very deep in these points because I ran out of time, but I want to mention one point, which is monitoring and reporting progress. Again, we will focus on impact measurement, develop and use metrics to measure the impact of sustainability initiatives on the environment and society. So again, it's the impact itself. Let's think out of the box. Let's bring more initiatives that affect all the companies, affect positively on our society and environment. Thank you so much. I'm sorry for the delay. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Adiyat, for that really eye-opening and valuable presentation, which I think shows us clearly the significant progress made by listed companies, and I totally agree it should all be about impact. To tell us more about global trends and best practices from Europe and the Arab world, I would now like to welcome Dr. Hárald Diaz-Bohn, a German engineer with over 30 years of international professional experience in corporate sustainability, ESG, and climate change. He is currently a senior advisor at Swiss Climate Zurich. We are very pleased to welcome him back to Jordan for the third time after previous visits in 2016 and 2019. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Hárald.
Hello, good morning, everybody, Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. Such a pleasure to be back to Jordan. Jordan, to me, is always the country of pioneering in terms of reporting. When I was here in 2016, Jordan was known to be the very first country that had already submitted its national communication under the Framework Convention on Climate Change long time ago, leading the developing countries world in how to do good reporting under the special circumstances that were provided back then. Also in 2019, when I was at the World Bank conference in the beautiful Dead Sea, again, it was Jordan leading the world, producing national inventory reports. And I think you are again leading the world with the Amman Stock Exchange. Congratulations for your hard work, for your dedicated work, for your excellent work in giving a clear message to the members of the stock exchange. If you want to do business with us, you better disclose your ESG data, and you better do it in an international standard. So this is, again, good practice. This is what you should do, and you're again leading the world. And I'm trying to help you with showing you some international experiences that we've seen in other countries. But I'm sure in the future, when I give presentation in other countries, it will be Jordanian companies in my presentation on good practices on ESG data and disclosure. So let's continue with this presentation. So I start with a global perspective, but don't worry, it's not going to be a global presentation. I will be very down to earth, focusing on practical problems and challenges and overcoming those. But we start with a global perspective. So we are living in a world not with one or two, but with many global crises. And the question, of course, is how can I do sustainability? How can I implement ESG in a world with so many global crises? I even marked those in different colors. You can see those imminent ones where people are dying. And of course, the Gaza conflict is to be added here. That's a presentation from 2022, so it's not yet shown on this slide. But in the red part, that's where people dying. Then you see some oranges where the socio-economic system has been heavily affected. And then we see the green ones on the very right-hand side, where there's nature and our planet on threat. And the question is, which of those crises are the ones I need to address? Which are the more important ones? Which ones can I maybe drop because I don't have time to look into all of them? Unfortunately, you must look into all of them. And what is the best way to deal with all of these multi-crises? What is the best way for a company to be ready to tackle not one, but at least those 20 that are visible here? The answer is, do your own corporate sustainability strategy. It's the best way to be resilient amid so many global challenges. And there might be new upcoming that are not yet on the screen. You cannot anticipate all these crises, but the best way to be prepared is being resilient. And how are you resilient? By orienting your business towards sustainability. oops, that's the wrong direction. So now we go into more down-to-earth problems. This is now the level of corporate sustainability. If I have a company, if I run a company, I have my core business, I want to make money, I want to produce and sell a product, that's the given. But still, at the same time, I want to understand where my project or my company is running, are we on a good path? And how does this align with international and national regulations and standards? So when it comes to sustainability, everybody is on a journey. Everybody needs to understand that we start at some point trying to understand what is the challenge, what are the true problems. Some are starting by doing their own carbon footprint. Others want to do an energy audit. There's a few people who look closer into sustainability regulations. All of this is a good starting point to understand what is the true challenge. But the true work, the hard work, starts only by doing a proper sustainability strategy. You want to have your own company's corporate sustainability strategy, and that's hard work. Even worse is you need to implement it. So the transformation of your company by adopting and implementing such a strategy, that's the true hard work. And all over the whole journey, you want to show to the world that you understood, that you strategized, and that you are on a transformation pathway when it comes to sustainability. So all these four elements are pivotal and are core to your own company's activities. So now let's go into the concrete challenges, and I want to have a little interaction now, asking you, what do you think are your key challenges when implementing ESG? Can I have your hands raised if you think that data quality and data availability is a challenge for your company when it comes to ESG? Can I have your hand? There's 1, 2, 3, oh, there's many. Yes, so data availability, reliable data, complete data, accurate data is a true challenge. How to find it, how to collect it, and how to organize it in such a manner that you can actually disclose such information. Secondly, regulatory and compliance issues. So what are the regulations out there that I need to know, that I need to comply with? It's another big challenge. Not too many people are fully aware, and things are changing. So we're working in a shifting and slippery ground world where a lot of things evolve. All in the past, we've done a little bit of GRI, the Global Reporting Initiative. Some have done CDP, the Carbon Disclosure Project. That was relatively easy to do, but now we're in the second stage with TCFD, with SBTI, and there's others, EU CSRDs looming at the horizon. For many of you, this is just letter soup. But for some of us, we understand that the regulatory world is changing, and it's changing fast. So you want to keep an overview of what is actually my regulation, my standard to comply with. And then the third element, which already was mentioned by the Amman Stock Exchange representatives, is how to integrate the sustainability aspects into our core business activities. Because there are a few companies who simply say, okay, there's a new challenge out there. So we find an assistant to the CEO, somebody who just recently got his graduate from university, and he or she is now in charge of doing that business, that new report, that ESG report. And that is the opposite of integrating ESG into your core business. Some people do it, some people have done it, and all of these have made bad experience. This is the way how never sustainability comes into the core of your business. Only if you have it at the C level, if you really have the CEO committing himself or herself towards sustainability goals, only then you will deliver a true sustainability report and a sustainability strategy, which is credible and which will deliver the harvested results that you want to get. And we will talk about those benefits later on. Success factors for good ESG reports is, of course, leadership, commitment, and governance by your company. It is stakeholder engagement and communication, which is at the core of every sustainability strategy. You don't want to produce a report by yourself in a tiny little room, but you want to have workshops with your stakeholders. That can be your owners, it can be your company's management, it can be your staff, it also can be your clients and suppliers. All of them are stakeholders, and you want to engage them, integrate them in the design and development of your strategy. Integration and innovation is also a key element, particularly if we are working in a world that is evolving. So you never should stop to innovate your own product. Make the product more green, but make also your production more green. And how do you do this? Through innovation, through constant learning, and again, improvement. Now we go into 3 cases, which I brought from 2 of them from the Arab world, from Saudi Arabia, and also from United Arab Emirates, and 1 from Germany. So this is Al-Marai. You might know this. It's a company from Saudi Arabia producing food and beverage. So the food producer is maybe familiar or known to you. It is a company that is investing in sustainable growth according to its own communication. It has an established agriculture practice by looking into important elements, of course, energy efficiency, water conservation, sustainable industry, wastewater management. All of these are pivotal elements, and by bringing it up, by actively including it, you can make sure that this company is understanding how to make these products are produced in a manner that is trying to minimize the impact on the planet. Secondly, they also care about animal welfare. So all these products that end up on your plate comes from animal meat or other elements, dairy activities. And here it's also important that these animals are raised under ethical and humane conditions. This is not always the case in the world, and it's good to see that here in Arab countries, people are taking care of this element. And looking into your community, social responsibility and community engagement is another pillar of the Al-Marai sustainability strategy, and it helps to help to engage the community around the company and non-profit organizations also to address social challenges. All of this, by the way, is a means of implementing Saudi Arabia's national transformation program, which has the aim of diversifying its economy, trying to be less dependent on the export of oil. Now we go into the first Abu Dhabi bank. And it's a number 1 in finance and banking in the region. Everybody is again familiar with this bank, I suppose. And here you see an own dedicated a sustainable financial report, which is good practice for many banks, but believe me, not every bank in the world has such a sustainable finance bank report. It's really useful reading. I would recommend everybody who's working in the sector to have a closer look, because it can help you guide through how to implement the sustainability language in the bank sector, which has an own letter soup. So PCAF, some of you might have heard of those letters. PCAF is, to me, the standard for reporting, but also TCFD has an own chapter exclusively for banks and insurances. So this sustainable finance and investment promotion is done through green bonds and sustainable investment products. Then their own integration of environmental and social risks is clearly core decision or core element of their lending and investment decisions. And last but not least, again, committing to diversity and inclusion within workforce and leadership. All of these are central elements, and this is good practice. Now we come to Germany, and you are familiar with SAP, which is one of the world's technologies companies. They are helping so many other companies with their solutions, with their tools to track and reduce their environmental impact, including their carbon emissions. And on top of it, SAP as a company has an own strong commitment to social responsibility through initiatives, through trainings, but also through a number of other elements. There's an important message. SAP used to have over 14,000 suppliers in their own supply chain. They had a database with all these companies, but over the last 2.5 years, they decided to reduce the number of suppliers from 14,000 down to 7,000. So they halved the number of suppliers because they said it's a too high risk for them to be dependent on so many suppliers. So the question is, which of those did they choose to stay and which they asked to better leave? And yes, ESG was one of the key elements. So they did selection according to which of their suppliers was disclosing their ESG data in a transparent manner, and so help them to ensure that their overall supply chain is indeed following good practices. And this is an important message to all of you. If you are a supplier to everybody or to anybody in the European Union, I'm sure they will ask you to disclose your ESG data very soon in an international standard. And if you cannot deliver because you haven't done your homework, you might risk of leaving their supply chain and your partnership with that company. That is a very important message here, and that alone should activate your own company's activities in the field of ESG. Oh, yeah. So now we go in a little view into the future. What's coming up next? So at the moment, we only see a lot of activity. I need to collect all this data manually. I will collect those using spreadsheets like Excel and others. And then I will have to produce a report using textbooks or whatever elements. And in the end, I'll submit a PDF to whoever asked me, or I put it on my website. That is 2024 practice of doing sustainability. But no, it won't stay like this. I think in the near future, there will be machines using artificial intelligence that will help you collecting data from sources that you have never thought of. Might be useful as a source for finding the sustainability data that you're looking for. So traditional data sources include, of course, your utility billing system, and that is, for instance, your SAP tool, but it is also meter data, it's also facility and asset metadata, all of this data that is pretty much used today for your reports. But in the future, these artificial intelligence machines will also use non-traditional data sources, and you'll be surprised, but it will be information on the weather, it will be independent system operator data or district heating and cooling systems. And yes, these machines are able to quickly grasp and collect all the data from all these different sources, get a much better profile of your company, and use it for producing your ESG reports. So with this, I'm already done. That was a little view. This is the last slide showing you the benefits of why you should produce ESG reports in the first place. To me, the key component is clearly access to capital. So you are able to get new, fresh investment from others because you are a trusted and reliable company, showing that you're proof, you're sustainability proof, you're future proof. There's other elements like cost savings, risk management I mentioned before, particularly in the multi-crisis world, risk management, resilience through sustainability is a good point. Don't forget the aspect of human capital, the ability to acquire other high capital, high quality companies. All of this comes from you being transparent on your own sustainability journey. With this, I thank you very much, and I look forward to some more interactions. Thank you.
So thank you so much, Dr. Bone, for presenting those insights and very interesting case studies. And I really look forward to reflecting on these further with the audience during the open discussion. So from Saudi Arabia, Emirates, and EU back to Jordan, I would now like to welcome our moderator and panelists to the stage, who will be discussing the first-hand experiences in ESG and sustainability reporting here in Jordan by leading private sector companies. So I'd like to first welcome our moderator, Engineer Khulud Hindiya. She's the advisor and trainer in sustainability and social impact, as well as, of course, our esteemed panelists. Khulud, welcome to the stage. I'd now like to welcome Dr. Samer Al-Muflih, VP for Strategic Planning, Performance, Excellence and Growth at the Arab Potash Company. Welcome, Dr. Samer. A round of applause for our panelists. Thank you. And of course, Ms. Rana Dababne, Chief Corporate Communications, Sustainability and Climate Officer at Orange. Welcome, Rana. And last but not least, of course, Ms. Marah Ayyash, Sustainability and ESG Professional and the main Sustainability Officer at the Jordan Kuwait Bank. Thank you. Over to you, Khulud.
تمام. صباح الخير، السلام عليكم للجميع. شكرا شذا على المقدمة. أنا اسمي كمان مرة خلود هندية. بشرفني طبعا إني أدير الجلسة الحوارية، إن شاء الله تكون ممتعة وغنية، طبعا مع نخبة من المستشارين والمتخصصين في مجال التنمية المستدامة. أنا بعمل الآن كمستشارة ومتخصصة في مجال التنمية المستدامة وقياس وإدارة الأثر الاجتماعي. إن شاء الله اليوم جلستنا الحوارية رح تتضمن 3 محاور أساسية أو 3 حوارات. خلينا نقول الموضوع الأول رح نحكي عن أهمية تبني استراتيجية الاستدامة، بدنا نحكي على أرض الواقع تطبيقات عملية لكيفية تبني استراتيجيات خاصة للاستدامة. المحور الثاني رح نحكي عن الميزة التنافسية وشو المميزات اللي تبنوها هاي الشركات بسبب تبني استراتيجية بالتركيز على تحسين العلاقة مع الستيك هولدرز أو أصحاب المصلحة. المحور الثالث طبعاً بدنا نحكي عن الحوكمة. فخلينا نبلش بالجلسة الأولى أو المحور الأول اللي هو عن أهمية تبني استراتيجية الاستدامة. بدي أبلش طبعاً بالدكتور سامر. دكتور سامر، في مقولة للباحث فريدمان بتقول بالإنجليزي، بدي أقولها: The business of business is business. يعني الشركات والمؤسسات موجودة لا تحصل الأرباح ولاستدامة أعمالها والبزنس أوبجكتيفز تبعونها. فصار في كتير ديبيت عن هذا الموضوع، صار في كتير مقولات عن هذا الموضوع. زي ما حكت دكتورة رشا، في العديد من المؤسسات حتى هنا بيطلقوا تقارير استدامة بدون استراتيجية. فأنت شو رأيك بهذا الموضوع؟ هل من الممكن النظر بطريقة شاملة نحقق البزنس أوبجكتيفز ومصالح المؤسسة من تحقيق الأرباح، بالإضافة إلى تحقيق أهداف وآثار اجتماعية وبيئية واقتصادية؟ شو برأيك من تطبيقاتكم العملية؟
شكراً لك وشكراً لمنتدى الاستراتيجيات لهاي الورشة المهمة صراحة، وللرعاة وللحضور. سؤال مهم جداً، وبعتقد أنه عبر الزمن في مفهوم خاطئ اتولد أنه الاستدامة بتتعارض مع الربحية. يعني إحنا كشركات صناعية حاولنا أن نوائم ما بين الربحية وما بين تحقيق الأهداف المستدامة للشركة. على سبيل المثال، معظم المشاريع اللي احنا بنتبناها بيكون لها أثر في تخفيف الانبعاثات أو بالاعتماد على المحركات الموفرة للطاقة أو التحول من الآليات اللي بتعتمد على الديزل لكهربتها واستهلاك خلينا نحكي انبعاثات، بحيث أن يكون في انبعاثات أقل، كان لها أثر إيجابي على اقتصاديات الشركة. فإحنا معظم المبادرات اللي لها علاقة في الاستدامة بيكون أثرها إيجابي. بنعمل لها IRR اللي هو معدل العائد الداخلي، بنعمل لها net present value. في جميع الحالات كانت آثارها إيجابية. فبعتقد أنه في مفهوم خاطئ أنه الاستدامة بتتعارض مع الربحية، بالعكس الاستدامة هي ممكن للربحية. هذا من جانب. الجانب الآخر، إحنا اليوم عم نشهد بريميوم ماركتس للجرين برودكتس. يعني إحنا كأسمدة حسب الEU regulations السيبام على سبيل المثال اللي هو الكاربون بوردر ادجستمنت ميكانيزم اللي بلش بال 24 25 كفيز تجريبي، وبال 26 راح يصير في تاكسس على القطاعات معينه ومنها الاسمده. احنا شركه البوتاس بنصنع الاسمده. بننظر لهذا الموضوع ك يعني بريميوم ماركت في الاتحاد الاوروبي اذا قللنا انبعاثاتنا. اكشولي في بعض الشركات الكبيره بنتعامل معها اليوم خصوصا في الدول الاسكندنافيه عم تدفع بريميوم وعم تعطينا اولويه لشراء منتجنا بسبب الممارسات المستدامه اللي علينا. فالفكره اللي بدي اوضحها مش فقط على النواحي التشغيليه في ارباح، ولكن على النواحي التجاريه ايضا عم بتحقق الاستدامه عوائد اقتصاديه مجديه للشركات. الموضوع الثالث اللي هو الموضوع الاجتماعي، بعتقد المجتمعات المحليه هي عنصر مهم في تحقيق الاستدامه. احنا كشركه صناعيه نتواجد في الأغوار الجنوبية. طبعا الأغوار الجنوبية هي أحد بؤر الفقر في الأردن، بتعاني من ظروف اقتصادية صعبة. يعني تجربتنا مع المجتمعات المحلية خصوصا أن نتقاطع معهم في أماكن العمل في بعض الموارد زي المياه، كانت دائما لما احنا بنعطي لهذه المجتمعات سواء خدمات صحية أو تعليمية أو حتى يعني بنستثمر في موارد المياه الموجودة في هذه المناطق، دائما انعكاسها إيجابي وربحي على الشركة. على سبيل المثال ولاء الموظفين بيزيد للشركة عند تدريب مجموعة من الموظفين، أيضا في برامج اجتماعية بتأهلهم لسوق العمل، بتوفر لنا عمالة بماهرة وكمان تخلق اقتصاديات في المنطقة. كان عندنا مشاريع أيضا مياه بالتعاون مع المجتمعات المحلية. على سبيل المثال منطقة الصافي منطقة زراعية، كان في عندنا انيشيتيف للريسايكلد ووتر من الأنشطة الزراعية، كنا بنجمعها ونضخها للمصنع. هذا المشروع وفر لنا مياه لعملياتنا الصناعية بكلف منخفضة، وأيضا حسن علاقتنا مع المزارعين. يعني المزارعين صاروا بينظروا إيجابية للشركة، أنه الشركة ما بتنافسهم على مواردهم الموجودة. فاللي بدي أحكي أنه ما في فصل اليوم. يعني يمكن قبل 30-40 سنة كان هذا المفهوم يعني أنه الاستدامة بتتعارض مع الربحية. ما في فصل اليوم بين الاستدامة والربحية. أنا بشوفها متطلب للربحية، متطلب لتحسين أداء الشركات، متطلب للبراند ودخول أسواق نوعية زي الأسواق الأوروبية والأسواق الآسيوية زي اليابانية اللي عندهم استعداد يدفعوا بريميوم على الجرين برودكت. وأيضا في عوائد اقتصادية إيجابية للمجتمعات المحلية وللموظفين عند تطبيق ممارسات الاستدامة.
ممتاز، شكرا كتير دكتور. وكتير حبيت مقولة اللي هو الاستدامة هي مش عنصر إضافي، هو أساسي ومتطلب أساسي لاستكمال خلينا نقول الأعمال. ومن هون يعني بقودني هذا الإشي لشركة الاتصالات. إحنا بنحكي دائما الاستراتيجية هي مش يعني زي ما بيحكوا one size fits all. كل استراتيجية يجب أن تتوافق مع أهداف المؤسسة. بكم أنتوا شركة اتصالات، فأكيد التكنولوجيا والابتكار هو عنصر أساسي لتحقيق الأهداف البزنس objectives. لكن سؤالي كيف أنتوا بتسخروا التكنولوجيا والابتكار لتحقيق أهداف التنمية المستدامة، لتحقيق أهداف اجتماعية واقتصادية وبيئية؟
شكرا كتير. طبعا thank you very much for Jordan Strategy Forum. Honestly يعني this subject has been addressed recently, but it's such a vague term for some people. يعني talking about, we started back in the days talking about CSR, and then we started to address sustainability, and now we're talking about it professionally as ESG. Honestly, as Orange Jordan being the leader in digital transformation in Jordan, it has not been, honestly, it was challenging, but in general, it was an exciting journey. So going back to your question, Khulud, it's very important and smart question, honestly, because we deliver digital services. So how come we were able to use technology to our benefit in terms of ESG? Of course, ESG as a concept, as I said, it has evolved. It's more understandable for many people now that it has the longer effect and impact on people. It's more in terms of focused on all of the organization, and we look at the future needs, present needs without impacting the future. I have 3 very nice examples on how we secure technology to implement sustainability. First of all, as known, we have one of the biggest solar farm projects in Jordan. We have 3 solar farms all around Jordan. This by itself, we were honestly, it was a challenging job, but we were able to do it. It serves 52% of our energy needs. So this by itself fulfilled a very big checkbox for us at Orange Jordan. Using the technology, we are using single access solar tracker that allows to increase the efficiency of the solar systems and the photovoltaic panels between 15 to 18%, going from east to west, tracking the sun. So this is basically one of the examples of how we're using the technology within sustainable projects to increase the efficiency of those. The other example, honestly, on a social level, we were very proud, honestly, that we have a very strong social digital inclusion programs. We were able to spread it for more than 50 locations all around Jordan. How technology helped? There are many examples, of course. We're educating about technology, but at the same time, I need to mention the example of COVID, which was really challenging for all of us, but we used technology in order to be able to reach more than 20,000 people all in all between COVID and post-COVID for this digital inclusion. The last example, and actually the other example that I will mention is an interesting one. So Orange Jordan has launched the anti-bullying campaign. It's an interesting example. I think it's a little bit different on all of what we mentioned today. But during our research, one of the core elements of ESG is actually anti-bullying. How are we using technology for that? We launched, as Orange Jordan, an initiative called Chile Positive Gang, to use social media platforms and social media influencers to enable our youth of having positive vibes rather than negative vibes. You know that many youth are impacted nowadays with the negative comments on social media. So we twisted that. We are using this technology, which is social media, in a very positive sense. Lastly, honestly, I have to show some muscles a little bit that it's not only technology. We use processes and innovation and excellence. We have 2 certificates. We have the certificate 45,001 for the Occupational Health and Safety Management System and 14,001 for Environmental and Management System Standards. So other than technology, other than innovation, we also used excellence and processes to be able to commit to our sustainability.
على كل الهايلايتس اللي حكيتيها. It's very interesting to see كيف تبني الاستدامة من ناحية التعدين، من ناحية الاتصالات، ولا بننتقل للاستراتيجية من ناحية البنوك والقطاع المالي. طبعا من المعروف أن القطاع المالي والمؤسسات المالية بتحكم الوضع أو المستوى الاقتصادي والوضع الاجتماعي والوضع البيئي في المجتمع اللي هي موجودة فيه. لذلك من الضروري كتير على كافة المؤسسات المالية والبنوك تبني مفهوم التمويل المستدام أو تبني مفهوم القروض المستدامة بالنظر على المخاطر البيئية والاجتماعية والاقتصادية. فكيف أنتم برأيكم أو إيش هي العوامل اللي بتساهم في نجاح تبني هاي المفاهيم الاجتماعية والاقتصادية والبيئية ضمن أعمال البنوك، خدمات البنوك اللي بتقدمها من ناحية التمويل ومن ناحية القروض، بالنظر على هاي المخاطر وبالنظر على شمولية التأثير على النواحي الاجتماعية والبيئية والاقتصادية؟
العافية جميعاً. بنك الأردني الكويتي أصدر تقرير الاستدامة الرابع الشهر الماضي، وكان بالتماشي مع Global Reporting Initiative. وبهذا التقرير وضحنا الأهداف الاستدامة المرجوة واللي إحنا بنسعى لتحقيقها مستقبلاً. هلا بدي أحكي عن السكسس فاكتورز اللي ساعدتنا في التمويل المسؤول والESG reporting والحوكمة والgovernance للsustainability. بداية طورنا نهج استدامة بالتماشي مع الجرين فاينانسينج استراتيجي الصادرة عن Central Bank of Jordan وأهداف التنمية المستدامة الصادرة عن اليونايتد نيشنز، وبالإضافة ولنت هذا النهج مع جوردن فيجن 2025. بعدين منا تقييم الأهمية النسبية للموضوعات الجوهرية اللي بتخص ESG integration داخل البنك، وتم إشراك الستيك هولدرز بهاي الماتيرياليتي أسسمنت. بالنهاية قدرنا نطور السستينابيليتي فريمورك داخل البنك الأردني الكويتي، واللي بتكون من 5 ركائز أساسية. هاي الركائز أول ركيزة بتخص ممارسات الأعمال المسؤولة، الركيزة الثانية تنمية الأفراد داخل البنك، الثالثة مشاركة التجارب مع العملاء، تمكين مجتمعاتنا، وإدارة الأثر البيئي والGHG emission. وبما يخص الحوكمة in order to control the framework, the approach, the mechanism، فعلنا وطورنا السستينابيليتي كوميتي بالمهام والمسؤوليات اللي عليها للإشراف على جميع مبادرات الاستدامة. On the technical side قدرنا نطور Sustainability Working Group تتكون من 20 موظف من مختلف دوائر البنك. هاي الدوائر جميعها معنية بتطبيق مبادرات الاستدامة in line مع Sustainability Framework.
Very nice. شكراً كتير. صراحة ما راح ذكرت إشي كتير مهم بحب إني أعيده، اللي هو ذكرت تحليل الجوهرية اللي هم بسموه الماتيرياليتي أناليسيس. كيف بده كل بنك أو مؤسسة أو شركة مهما كان القطاع اللي بتشتغل فيه تحدد الفوكس أرياز، يعني أهم المجالات اللي هي بسموها الفوكس سستينابيليتي فوكس أرياز، اللي بتنعمل بالتعاون مع أصحاب المصلحة، مع الستيك هولدرز. كيف أنا بدي أعرف شو المحاور اللي بدي أتبناها كبنك، اللي هو لازم أتواصل مع أصحاب المصلحة. وهذا بيقودني صراحة للمحور الثاني من الجلسة، اللي هو كيف ما هو دور تبني استراتيجية للاستدامة في تحسين العلاقات مع أصحاب المصلحة. فرح نحكي طبعاً مع المؤسسات يعطونا خبرتهم. بدي أبلش كمان مرة مع الدكتور سامر. دكتور سامر، حكينا إنه إحنا بدي أركز معك على العلاقات مع الموظفين. طبعاً حكيت إنه أنتم عم تتبنوا استراتيجية شاملة، لكن خلينا نكون صريحين، تحقيق هاي الاستراتيجية على أرض الواقع هي جورني، هي يعني خلينا نقول مش برنامج له مدة ونهاية، هي عبارة عن مسيرة. وهاي المسيرة يتطلب نشر وعي وإدماج الموظفين في تحقيق هاي الاستراتيجية. فأنتوا شو دوركم وشو المبادرات اللي بتقوموا بتطبيقها لنشر وعي الموظفين، تحسين العلاقة مع الموظفين، وبالتالي القدرة على تطبيق هاي الاستراتيجية وتحقيقها على أرض الواقع؟
شكرا لهذا السؤال المهم. يعني الانجيجمنت تبع الموظفين في كل مراحل الاستدامة متطلب أساسي لنجاحها. خليني أحكي أنا شركة البوتاس العربية كيف مشت في هذا الأبروتش. طبعا الانجيجمنت تبع القيادة أو تبني القيادة لمفاهيم الاستدامة هو المحرك الأول لهذه المفاهيم. يعني لما يكون عندك السي او أو حتى البورد والفايس بريزيدنتس والدايركتورز اورينتد بمفاهيم الاستدامة والشفت اللي عم بيصير في العالم نحو تحقيق الأهداف اللي أعلنتها الUN واللي أعلنتها بعض الدول كمان لتحقيق هاي المفاهيم هو المحرك الأول. النقطة الثانية الاستراتيجية. يعني إحنا في استراتيجيتنا لشركة البوتاس العربية، إحنا الحمد لله أطلقنا استراتيجيتنا الثانية للعام 24-28 بداية العام، ورعى دولة الرئيس إطلاقها في غور الصافي. في أحد الأهداف اللي أدخلناها على استراتيجيتنا هي مكونة من 5 أهداف، هو معني بتحسين وتقوية ممارسات الاستدامة في الشركة من أجل زيادة تنافسيتها في الأسواق العالمية. طبعا استراتيجيتنا إحنا لما بنشتغلها توب داون وبوتوم اب ابروتش، يعني بنقعد مع كل الفانكشنز وكمان بناخذ الانبوت من الليدرشيب، ويصير في ورك شوبس during the process. ولما بنعلن الاستراتيجية أيضا تعمم على كل الدوائر، كل دائرة لها دور في تنفيذها، بيتم في متابعة لها، وكمان بنعمل اورينتيشن وتدريب للموظفين الجدد في هذه الاستراتيجية، بنرسخ هدف الاستدامة للموظفين. أيضا بنشتغل على التدريب بشكل كبير. احنا عضو في منظمة عالمية اسمها الإيفا الانترناشونال فيرتيلايزرز أسوسيشن، هي بتضم كبار المنتجين الأسمدة في العالم. طبعا الأردن بيتميز بصناعات الأسمدة، عندنا البوتاش والفوسفات عنصر رئيسي للميزان التجاري الأردني. عندهم أكاديمية للاستدامة جديد أطلقوها بالتعاون مع أفضل جامعات العالم. إحنا أخذنا المبادرة كبوتاس وودينا 20 موظف كمرحلة أولى، و this was highly appreciated. يعني بأحد المؤتمرات اللي حضرناها كانوا بيحكوا كيف اهتمام الدول العالم الثالث في الاستدامة، فحطوا سلايد البوتاس إنه أكثر شركة ودت متدربين لهذه الأكاديمية كانت البوتاس، فعكست أهمية يعني خلينا نحكي دول العالم الثالث في تبني هذه المفاهيم ورغبتها في يعني في الاندماج في مفاهيم الاستدامة. يعني التوعية قد تكون كمان مهمة على المستوى العالمي بالنسبة للشركات بحيث أنها تحاكي التغيرات اللي بتصير في الأسواق. أيضا تطرقوا الزملاء لمواضيع السيرتيفيكتس، احنا سيرتيفايد في الايزو في مواضيع الطاقة، البيئة، الانفايرمنت. وريسنتلي بتستغربوا وردنا لشركة باسكندنافيا نرويجية طلبوا ينعمل علينا sustainability audit، شهادة اسمها إيكوفاديس. هاي الشهادة بتأكد إنه السبلايرز لهاي الشركة النرويجية، وإحنا سبلاير بنبيع بوتاس complies with sustainability standards وعندهم خطط للتحول الأخضر. والحمد لله يعني الرانك تبعنا إجا كثير كويس، إجا يعني بتوب 15% من الشركات اللي بيتعاملوا معها في ممارسات الاستدامة، فأيضا هذا بنشتغل عليه. عندنا R&D Center أنشأناه جديدا، ودائما يعني أحد أهداف R&D Center تحسين ممارسات الاستدامة في الطاقة والمياه والزراعة. وعندنا على البرنامج أنه نعلن مسابقات بحيث أنه نشجع الموظفين والمجتمعات المحلية أنهم يشاركوا، فهذا بيعزز ثقافة الاستدامة في شركة البوتاس العربية. وأيضا مشاركتنا في الجوائز العالمية المعنية بالاستدامة. كمان احنا من خلال الإيفا قبل سنتين حصلنا على جائزة اسمها الجرين ليف أوورد، جينا بالمركز الثاني لممارسات مستدامة فيما يخص استعمالات المياه والريسايكلينج. ففي كثير يعني طرق الشركات ممكن تتبناها عشان تعزز الاستدامة، ابتداء من التبني القيادة للاستراتيجية للسيرتيفيكيشنز لبرامج التدريب والوركشوبس والابتكار والتطوير والمشاركة في الجوائز العالمية المعنية في هذا الشأن.
فعلا شكرا كثير دكتور سامر. هو بدي أكد على كلامك إنه الاستدامة هي نهج وهي ثقافة وهي طريقة تفكير، فهذا اللي لازم إحنا نشتغل عليه، إنه نغير من طرق التفكير، نغير هي لايف ستايل، هي مش بس زي ما تفضلت مبادرة وخلصنا، هي مدمجة بداخل الDNA تبع الشركات. وهنا كمان بنقولني لرنا أنتم كمان واحدة من أهم العلاقات اللي بنحكيها مع أصحاب المصلحة هم من الموردين، ومن أهم المبادرات اللي تتبناها مؤسسات اللي هي مبادرة المشتريات الخضراء، بنسميها sustainable procurement، لأن هي بتأثر فعلياً على كافة الجوانب البيئية والاجتماعية والاقتصادية، لأنها بتغطي كافة المحاور. فبدي أسمع منك كيف أنتوا بأورنج اشتغلتوا على هذا الموضوع، وبالتالي يحسن من علاقتكم مع الموردين وبحسن من نشر وعي الموردين إنه لا، إحنا بدنا نصير كمؤسسة نطلع على الجوانب البيئية والاجتماعية والاقتصادية للمشتريات داخل المؤسسة.
شكرا خلود. صراحة إحنا رح نحكي أكتر على تطبيقنا إحنا، لأنه إحنا كنا من AS20 مع عمان ستوك اكسشينج في الESG reporting، بس صراحة من سنوات قبل، لأنه إحنا كنا مطلوب منا من خلال أورنج جروب. إحنا طبعا جزء من 26 دولة فيها الأورنج جروب. فباك إن ذا دايز يعني قبل يعني خلينا نحكي 7 سنين بلش في متطلبات من أورنج جروب حتى يكون عنا خطوات معينة نتبعها مع الموردين. هلا هل كانت الخطوات هاي سهلة؟ لا صراحة ما كانت سهلة أبدا، ولكن شيئا فشيء صاروا الموردين وخصوصا الشركاء اللي معانا من سنين يتفهموا علينا أكتر إيش المتطلبات اللي عم نطلبها. أول إشي إحنا بنطلب نعمل تحليل كامل للموردين ببروسس بنسميها due diligence. بندخل بكل الحيثيات، الممارسات الإدارية، التقارير، إدارة المخاطر للمورد. هي أولاً. ثانياً نمشي على كود اوف كوندكت كامل للموردين، برضه بنراجعه بشكل كامل. ثالثاً كنا نطلب بالكونتراكتس، بالعقود مع الموردين CSR كلوز، اللي هو التزامهم بالمسؤولية الاجتماعية من خلال الممارسات لهم كمورد. وجديد هلأ رح ينطلب إجباري غير موضوع الفقرة والبند المتعلق بالمسؤولية الاجتماعية، في بند جديد رح يكون متعلق بالمسؤولية البيئية. هلا النقطة الأخيرة اللي الدكتور سامر أثار لها، إحنا كمان نستخدم الإيكوفادس CSR Assessment Tool بشكل عام حتى نقيم. هي It's a tool and certificate بنمشي فيها مع كل الموردين الرئيسيين بالنسبة لنا، حتى نمشي على أكثر من عامل، منها الانفايرمنت، البيئة، الأخلاقية، العمل، والحقوق الإنسان، وتطبيقات الاستدامة بالنسبة للموردين. هلأ يمكن عم نبين الموضوع معقد، بس صار لنا تغذية راجعة من الموردين إنه هذه المتطلبات ساعدتهم حتى يطوروا خلينا نحكي تطبيق الاستدامة عندهم بالشركة.
شكراً، ممتاز كتير. يعني هذه الممارسات فعلياً بتخلق وعي بالمجتمع. لما نحكي موظفين عاملين، طب الموظف هو كمان لما يروح على بيته هو أب، هو أخ. طب هاي الممارسات بتصير بلت إن عنا في المجتمع. لما نحكي عن موردين كمان، وبدي أنتقل كمان لمرح عندكم في البنك، أكيد من أهم أصحاب المصلحة أكيد الشير هولدرز، بس كمان التوجه الجديد إنه مش بس نركز على العلاقات مع الشير هولدرز، نركز على العلاقات كمان مع other stakeholders، ومن أهمها طبعاً العملاء. فكيف ممكن أنتوا من خلال ممارسات الاستدامة تحسنوا من العلاقات مع العملاء، سواء عم نحكي عملاء أفراد بالريتيل بانكينج أو عم نحكي عن عملاء من الشركات؟ أنتوا بتتعاملوا كتير مع الكوربريت بانكينج، بتعملوا زي ما حكينا sustainable lending وinvestment. فكيف هاي الممارسات المستدامة حسنت من علاقتكم مع العملاء وجذبت عملاء أكتر؟
خلال الأعوام السابقة قطعنا أشواط كتيرة بتطبيق الاستدامة، وبالأخص بالتمويلات الخضراء، وقدرنا نحقق ميزة تنافسية بالجوردانيان ماركت. فكان بنك الأردن الكويتي أول بنك بالأردن بيطلق سند أخضر، ومن خلال هذا السند الأخضر تم تطوير إطار عمل للتمويلات الخضراء اللي من خلالها حددنا set of green assets البنك رح يمولها، وكانت تشمل مشاريع للطاقة المتجددة، water management projects, clean transportation, energy efficiency equipments. فمن خلالها إحنا وفرنا a set of assets كانت غير متواجدة أو متواجدة لكن الإمباكت تبعتها، قياسات الإمباكت تبعتها مش متوفرة في السوق. فصار العميل متوفر له هاي الأسيتس، وإحنا عنا آلية وميكانيزم لقياس الانفيرمنتال and social impact. البنك الأردني الكويتي أول بنك بيطور وبيطبق الانفيرمنتال and social management system لقياس الأثر البيئي والاجتماعي من محافظ التمويل، والإمباكتس انعكست بالsustainability report الموجود over our website. خلال العام السابق we've allocated the bond amount $50 مليون، كانت موجهة لمشاريع بتخص waste water treatment plant and water distribution network على عدد من المشاريع الموزعة في محافظات الأردن، وتم قياس الأثر البيئي والاجتماعي لهاي المشاريع. بالإضافة إنه إحنا وجهنا قيمة البوند للمشاريع الووتر مانجمنت، كون الأردن بيعاني من شح وندرة في الموارد المائية، وحبينا نكون دايماً إنه we align our approach and bond amount لمشاريع تخدم الأردن و in line with the Jordan vision.
كتير لكم على الهايلايت على الدور تبني هاي الاستراتيجية لتحسين علاقات مع الستيك هولدرز. صراحة شيق كتير وممكن نضلنا نحكي فيه لوقت طويل، بس هلا بدي أنتقل للمحور الثالث والأخير معنا اللي هو الحوكمة، وهو موضوع كتير مهم في تبني الاستراتيجية، وهو أساسي لنجاح خلينا نقول تبني مفاهيم الاستدامة ضمن أعمال الشركات والمؤسسات. ففي عندي سؤال سريع برضو للدكتور سامر. أنت تفضلت وحكيت إنه تبني استراتيجية الاستدامة هو متطلب لنجاح أعمال الشركات، فبرأيك دور الحكومة كمان ضروري كتير لتشجيع المؤسسات من كافة القطاعات؟ عم نحكي عن بس قطاعات خاصة، عم نحكي عن قطاعات خاصة كبيرة أو مؤسسات متوسطة أو صغيرة.
هل الحكومة في الوقت الحالي بتقوم بدورها لتشجيع هاي المؤسسات في تبني نهج استراتيجي، أو بشكل عام ما هو دورها في هذا الموضوع؟
تمام، شكرا لهذا السؤال. وهذا السؤال يعني شخصيا أنا مهتم فيه كوني خدمت في الحكومة فترة طويلة وحاليا في القطاع الخاص. هلا الحكومة بشكل عام دورها الأساسي هي تنظيم العمل للقطاع الخاص أو للأفراد، بحيث أنه إنتاجيتهم تزيد أو تنافسيتهم بتزيد وبينعكس إيجابيا سواء اقتصاديا أو اجتماعيا عليهم. فالهدف الرئيسي للحكومة هي وضع السياسات والاستراتيجيات، التشريعات والحوافز المناسبة للقطاع الخاص بحيث أنه يقدر يقوم بدوره بشكل صحيح. طبعا الحكومة مشكورة يعني involved بالsustainability development goals اللي أطلقتها الأمم المتحدة، وزارة التخطيط بتتابع المؤشرات. بعتقد أنه في بعض الاستراتيجيات الوطنية هي أيضا طرقت لهذه الأهداف. ولكن يعني إحنا بنحس اليوم إحنا بحاجة لاستراتيجية شاملة للاستدامة، أو في بعض الدول زي دول الخليج العربي وحتى في أوروبا تبنت استراتيجيات للحياد الكربوني أو net zero strategies. وأنا شاركت بكذا مؤتمر واستغربت أنه دول بتعتمد على البترول وعلى الغاز تبنت هاي الاستراتيجيات، بالرغم أنه قد يتعارض مع يعني المبادئ الاقتصادية اللي بتنطلق منها هاي الدول. يعني على سبيل المثال دولة عمان أطلقت استراتيجية للحياد الكربوني 2050، الإمارات نفس الشيء، البحرين 2060. هاي الاستراتيجيات كمان وضعت الأطر العامة للقطاعات الاقتصادية كيف إنها بدها تتحول للاستدامة. ففي تحليل كامل لجميع القطاعات الاقتصادية، مساهمتها في الانبعاثات الكربونية، وشو الأكشنز المطلوبة من كل قطاع بحيث إنه يقلل من انبعاثاته. طبعا this يعني goes down للبزنسز. هناك يعني حسينا في آلية إنه الشركات ممكن إنها تربط ما بين أهدافها والأهداف الوطنية وصولا لتارجت واضح. إحنا في الأردن في initiatives يعني حكينا على موضوع الاستيجيز، الدولة يعني بتتابعه. في خطة شاملة للتحول للطاقة أطلقتها وزارة الطاقة 2020-2030، ولكن للأسف حتى أهدافها اللي انحطت فيما يخص التحول الأخضر أو مصادر الطاقة من الطاقة الخضراء كانت متواضعة. وإحنا اليوم كمان بنعاني من الحصول على موافقات لمشاريع خلينا نحكي خضراء، بحيث إنه ممكن to generate electricity from solar energy. يعني صار لنا أكثر من سنة بنخاطب. في كمان أشياء ثانية إيجابية، أنا بدي أحكي على الإيجابيات والتحديات. مثلا بورصة عمان أيضا طلبت من الشركات الكبرى أكبر 10 أو 20 شركة إنها to report on a mandatory basis. فالخلاصة إنه إحنا اليوم بحاجة لإطار وطني شامل للاستدامة، قد يكون من خلال نت زيرو استراتيجي. هاي الاستراتيجي بيمكن الشركات إنها تربط أولوياتها مع الأولويات الوطنية. إحنا لما جينا نشتغل هذا الشغل في البوتاس العربية للأسف ما كان في reference document واضحة بالنسبة لنا how to align our objectives مع national objectives. كمان عم نتفرج على العالم كيف بيتحرك. الدول على سبيل المثال أوروبا انتقلت من مرحلة السياسة لمرحلة التشريع. اليوم لما بنحكي على السيبام أو الكاربون بوردر أدجستمنت ميكانيزم، هم انتقلوا من السياسة للتطبيق. فهم سابقين مرحلتين صفوا كأردن. فإحنا كمان واجبنا نفكر مع بعض كستيك هولدرز، سواء شركات وطنية أو قطاع عام أو حتى individuals مهتمين بهذا الموضوع، كيف ممكن إنه نقعد مع بعض ونحط أولويات وطنية متوافق عليها في هذا الموضوع. شكرا.
ممتاز دكتور سامر، أنا كتير بوافقك الرأي بكتير أشياء. وبدي أسأل كمان أخت رنا على موضوع حكى الدكتور سامر إنه كتير مهم، أو كتير عديد من الدول إنه شرعوا انتقلوا من السياسات إلى التشريعات. وزي ما شفنا كمان في بورصة عمان تم إلزامية إصدار تقارير لأول أو لأكبر 20 شركة. هذا إشي جميل ورائع، لكن في تحديات من إنه وضع إلزامية تبني استراتيجيات الاستدامة وإصدار تقارير للاستدامة على كافة الشركات. فهل أنت مع أم ضد؟ أكيد يعني في إيجابيات، لكن اللي يكون في تحديات. فأعطينا رأيك بهذا الموضوع، أنه نلزم كافة المؤسسات من كافة القطاعات والشركات والأحجام في إصدار تقارير وفي تبني نهج مستدام.
شكرا خلود. هلا رح أقسم السؤال لجزئين. الجزء الأول اللي هو موضوع نهج الاستدامة. واضح إنه خلينا نحكي من بداية الصباح اليوم أكثر وأكثر عم تقتنع الشركات والمنظمات إنه تطبيق الاستدامة هو أول إشي، حتى لو مش إلزامي لازم يكون بخيار الشركات لا تحقيق أهداف كتيرة حكى عنها الدكتور هارالد، من ناحية الكوست سيفينج، من ناحية اللويالتي للموظفين. صراحة ما عم نقدر نشتغل هلا مع أي بارتنر خارجي إلا لما نكون عم نطبق مفهوم الاستدامة، الريفينيو للزبائن، حتى للتطبيقات الداخلية عنا، حتى يكون في فعالية أكتر للعمليات. أكيد نهج الاستدامة لازم يطبقه. طبعا أنا طرف حيادي كوني أنا ماسكة الاستدامة في شركة أورنج. لكن موضوع الإفصاح هذا الإشي اللي حابة أشاركه، لأنه إحنا زي ما حكينا وزي ما حكى معالي الدكتور، معالي الأستاذ مازن والدكتورة رشا، إحنا كنا من AS20 اللي هو مع سوق عمان المالي، إنه إحنا من 20 شركة اللي لازم نفصح عن ممارسات الاستدامة. بالنسبة لنا الرحلة جدا كانت ممتعة، ما كانت سهلة أبدا، فيها أكيد تحديات. إحنا بنعرف التقرير بناء على الجلوبال ريبورتينج انيشيتيف زي ما حكينا الستاندرد، فيه كتير أجزاء منه responsible business practices, service responsibility and digital engagement, empowering our employees, empowering communities, environment, وبرضو an eye to the future. هدول كانوا الكومبوننتس الرئيسيين اللي اشتغلنا فيهم بالتقرير. اشتغل عليهم صراحة الفرق من جميع أنحاء الشركة. البروسيس ما كانت سهلة. إحنا بنبلش نشتغل من شهر 11 بنخلص بشهر 6. صار عاملين تقريرين للآن. الصراحة تحديات زي ما حكينا إنه نجمع كل الأفرقة، خصوصاً هلأ عم نواجه أكتر زي ما حكينا بالإنفايرمنت، خصوصاً كيف نجمع المعلومات، الأمور الداخلية الإفصاح عنها. برضو في كتير معلومات سرية، ففي تحديات مع الدوائر إنه كيف نفصح عن معلومات معينة. والavailability of data ما كانت موجودة بس ما عم نلاقيها بمكان واحد. من ناحية الفرص، هاي المعلومات اللي جمعناها واللي كان في تحدي إنه نجمعها هي اللي عم تعطينا فرص إنه نشوف يكون عنا visibility أكتر ورؤية كتير أفضل بالتخطيط الاستراتيجي للمستقبل لكل العمليات اللي قاعدين بنحكي فيها. وبرضو عم نقدر نكون أقرب للكوميونيتي، وعم نقدر نكون أقرب للبارتنرز تبعونا. ففي كتير فرص صراحة من ناحية الإفصاح بشكل عام والESG reporting. فإحنا أكيد من الشركات كانت الأولى، ومنرحب بأي حدا بنحب نشارك خبرتنا والرحلة تبعتنا مع الESG. وأكيد بنشكر سوق عمان المالي لكل الدعم اللي أعطونا إياه.
تمام، ممتاز، شكرا كتير لك. إذا بقدر أختصر يعني اللي تفضلتي فيه، إنه إحنا we are on the right track. في عنا أكيد من التحديات، ومن أبرز التحديات هي وجود الداتا، الavailability of data، البيانات، لأنه بناء عليها إحنا بنقدر نبني استراتيجيات ذات أثر مستدام، أثر على البيئة والمجتمع. فبالتالي في عنا هاي التحديات، وفي عنا بعض الفرص اللي بتساعدنا أكتر لنمشي بهذا الموضوع أكتر، خصوصاً في جلب الاستثمارات العالمية، لأن الاستثمارات العالمية عمالها بتطلع على أثر الاستثمار اللي بدها تعملها. فبالتالي عمالها بتعطي المؤسسات فقط التي تتبنى استراتيجية للاستدامة، اللي بتصدر تقارير للاستدامة. فبالتالي البزنسز اللي ما عندها هذا الإشي رح تفقد هاي الأوبورتونيتيز، رح تفقد العديد من الفرص. فبرأيك مرح، كيف ممكن إحنا نجذب بالوضع الحالي إحنا فيه استثمارات مسؤولة، اللي هو بنسميه responsible investments، للمنطقة تبعتنا وبالتحديد للأردن؟
هلا ما كنا يعني أنا رح أحكي from our experience as a bank in the banking sector, our leading position in the sustainability والpolicies والprocedures والenvironmental and social management system اللي طورنا خلال السنوات الماضية. أنا رح أحكي أمثلة من الاستثمارات اللي إجتنا، عشان إحنا دائما نحكي في كوست من تطبيق السستينابيليتي، بس أنا اليوم حابة أطلع على البوزيتيف سايد وأحكي عن اتفاقيات تعاون وقعناها بسبب البوزيشن تبعنا والشغل اللي عملناه. وطبعا وأهمهم السستينابيليتي ريبورتينج اللي موجود over our website. وقعنا اتفاقية تعاون مع وزارة البيئة لتبني متنزه بيئي في منطقة الزرقاء بخدم أهداف الاستدامة للبنك وللأردن ككل. وقعنا اتفاقية تعاون مع United Nations Development Program لتنمية منطقة وادي الأردن من خلال توفير منافذ تمويلية خضراء في هاي المنطقة، هي اللي بتبتدي من إربد للعقبة وبتشمل منطقة المختص. We've been nominated from United Nations Global Compact to conduct 2 capacity building programs for JKB employees لأنه بنك الأردن الكويتي كان فعال ضمن شبكة UNGC وبيطبق أعلى معايير الاستدامة. We've been awarded from IFC for implementing 1001 stars initiative، وكان هذا البروبوزل بيختص بتوفير فرص عمل للومن and youth. وأكيد to maintain our leading position لأنه لازم نحافظ على البوزيشن اللي إحنا فيه ونضلنا نعمل enhancement، لأنه طبيعة الاستدامة هي طبيعة متطورة ودايناميك، فلازم نلحق السوق المحلي والسوق العالمي. وكتير في regulations عم تطلع. We signed a new agreement من شهر with IFC in order to نطور استراتيجية استدامة مع خطة عمل لمدة 3 سنوات in order to include this expansion in our sustainability framework. الانيشيتيف اللي عم نعملها ورح يتم الإشراف عليها في سياق الgovernance، لأنه كتير مهم إذا إحنا بدنا نعمل أي استراتيجية أي ميكانيزم الgovernance it's an important part عشان نقدر نمشي بالfull cycle of the success. سيتم الإشراف عليها من قبل لجنة الاستدامة على المستوى الإدارة العليا، وسيتم تطبيقها من قبل Sustainability Working Group اللي هي بتشمل 20 موظف من مختلف دوائر البنك عشان نقدر ننجح بهاي الاستراتيجية الجديدة. ودايما I hope to maintain our position in the market as a leading bank. وإحنا we're open to share our experience سواء كان بالESMS كيف قدرنا نعمل. طبعا أكيد في due diligence بنعمل علينا إذا بدنا نستخدم استثمارات من الخارج. we're open to share our knowledge with everyone.
إن شاء الله. شكرا كتير لكم. وطبعا قبل ما ننهي هذا الحوار الشيق يعني زي ما حكى ممكن نمتد فيه بكتير أسئلة، بدنا بس أقل من دقيقة إحنا الثلاثة مع بعض. بدي كل واحد يعطيني، أنتوا طبعا أصدرتوا تقارير الاستدامة مؤخرا، أعطوني درس مستفاد واحد. كل حدا منكم بدي درس مستفاد أو تشالنج أو تحدي بالذات على موضوع إصدار تقرير استدامة بآخر يعني على حسب آخر experience لإلكم. دكتور سامر أعطينا هيك درس مستفاد.
يعني بدي أحكي جملتين أو 3. أول شيء إصدار تقرير الاستدامة هي رحلة، يعني ما بتقول بدي تقرير الاستدامة بيصدر، يعني بدك تأسس فريق وتجمع بيانات فتيكس few months to develop. في لها إيجابيات وفي لها سلبيات، بس إيجابياتها كثير أحسن من سلبياتها. في تحديات طبعا حكوا الإخوان على availability of data. Transparency might be an issue خصوصا في بعض الإفصاحات تكون تركي. النقطة الأخيرة بس يصدر التقرير له انعكاسات كثير كثير إيجابية على الشركات فوق ما بتصور. يعني إحنا لقينا تفاعل كبير سواء من زبائننا أو من الجهات المنظمة أو حتى البوتنشال يعني بارتنرز في certain investments. فكمان بس يصدر التقرير بيكون له إيجابيات كبيرة.
ممتاز. رنا،
ما حكيت إحنا رحلتنا كانت ممتعة، بس أهم إشي بدي أحكي موضوع زيادة الوعي وثقافة الاستدامة في الأردن وداخل الشركة. طبعا إحنا شركة مكونة من 1600 موظف، هذا الوظائف المباشرة، فإحنا بنمثل المجتمع الأردني. أكون صريحة، ب2018 عملنا دراسة قديش مهم موضوع البيئة، إنه بالنسبة لنا كملف بتتفاجئوا إنه طلع 0% الناس مهتمة بموضوع البيئة. هذا 2017-2018. فموضوع زيادة الوعي وزيادة الثقافة تأكدت وتشجعت من خلال إصدار التقرير، إن كان داخليا إلنا، لأنه كتير في من داخليا من الموظفين صراحة تعلموا أكتر عن موضوع الاستدامة، أو إن كان بالنسبة للمجتمع حتى نعمم ممارسات الاستدامة.
حلو، ممتاز. مرح
بإضافة اللي أشاروا إليه الزملاء، يعني هم حكوا كل إشي بس أنا رح أضيف 2 main points. تقرير الاستدامة أنا بعتبره الركيزة الأساسية لتطبيق معايير الاستدامة. ولما تبلش بتقرير الاستدامة هو يعتبر gap assessment where do we stand today من تطبيق الاستدامة، فكتير رح يساعد في مرحلة التطوير.
لإلكم وشكرا لحسن الاستماع، وإن شاء الله نكون أثرنا مواضيع هامة بالنسبة لإلكم، وإن شاء الله الأسئلة أظن بنخليها لبعدين. شكرا للدكتور، شكرا رنا، شكرا كتير مرح لإلكم وشكرا للاستماع.
So thank you so much to our moderator and panelists for that really rich discussion. I certainly walked away very inspired by the Jordanian examples, and I fully believe what Dr. Haarold said earlier, that a lot of these examples will be making it to global best practices in the very near future. We heard about a lot of topics from our panelists and even from Mr. Mazen and CEO Nasreen. We heard about technology, inclusion, materiality, investment, supply chains, green bonds, the ASE 20, the first 20 companies, global awards gained by Jordan already, the export potential, so many topics we covered already today. And I would like to request your patience in skipping the break as instructed by our organizers, and we're going to proceed now to the final session of today, which is our discussion with Dr. Haarold Diaz-Bohn, to really hear from you, our audience. So please, avail yourself of the water on the tables, and please collect your questions right now. So I'd like to call now Dr. Haarold Diaz-Bohn back to the stage to reflect on everything we've heard, and most importantly, to hear from you right now, because I'm sure we have many success stories in the audience, many lessons learned that we would love to hear about. So Dr. Diaz, please take a seat, and I will move over there.
Yes, sir. It's up. Dr.
So this is your third time in Jordan, and you've, I think, like me, heard lots of interesting things today. We would really love to ask you to reflect on what you just heard from this amazing panel of Jordanian companies. And, what we're experiencing here in Jordan, is it very different from the ESG conversation in other parts of the world? What caught your attention about what you heard from Orange, from the Arab Potash, and from the Jordan Kuwait Bank? I think we'd love to hear your points. While he answers the question, please, audience members, collect your own interventions. I will be opening the floor very soon. Dr. Bohn.
Thank you. And I must say that I myself got inspired when listening to all these great examples. I cannot say which of those were the best one to me, but I need to report back to Europe that people around the world got the message and clearly understood that ESG reporting is a pivotal core asset to be developed and to deliver on time. Those who are still sleepy, and yes, there are people sleeping in Europe and particularly in the United States, they might need to wake up very soon. Yeah? And in a nutshell, I must only congratulate those people who presented today that they got the early birds benefit of doing it at an early stage. Of course, with all the uncertainties, what is the best standard to report under, how to disclose my data in an appropriate manner. But in general, I feel from those examples we heard, they're all in a good path, and this is comparable to what I see in Europe as well.
Well, that's exciting and very heartening to hear. So finally, opening it up to the audience, please raise your hands if you'd like to ask any questions or share any stories. We appreciate if you can limit your intervention to 2 minutes and kindly state your name and organization. So please raise your hand if anyone would like to ask a question or share a comment at this time.
Next one.
Oh, we have someone here. Dr. Mana, please.
Hello. I am Professor Muna Hindiye. I'm teaching at German Jordanian University. I've been working a lot with my students regarding the sustainability reporting, and we've been win an awards from Engineering Association, first in 2022 regarding the hotels sustainability reports, and in 2023 regarding university sustainability report, 2 awards. So I've been very glad that Engineering Association, they are interesting about sustainability reporting in the first hand. The second, I would like to share with you the success story with the banking society. They work a lot with the training for the banks regarding the sustainability reports. So from this floor, I would like to stress on the point the importance of NGOs regarding the training for each sector. We had some difficulties with the hotels society. We tried to call them, send emails, we tried to meet them, they didn't respond. So I think any association regarding each sector, they will be a successful story if we work on training with them to train the sectors how to write a sustainability report. Thank you.
Thank you, please.
Yes, thank you so much. And first of all, thank you for your valuable contribution. There's a lot of contributions from the academic world, also from the NGO world towards this topic. I understand that here in Jordan, the German Jordanian University plays a pivotal role together with the Royal Institute of Academics, if I understand it right. So lucky you have the people here in the country who help you with collecting all the knowledge elements, the bits and pieces that you might need to produce those reports. Secondly, your point on sectoral aspects is also very valid. Both the tourism sector, be it hotels or be it other resorts, then also the banking sector, the insurance sector. Many sectors have sector-specific topics to be addressed in the context of their sustainability reports, and there is sectoral guidance. You find all of this under the special standards, be it the greenhouse gas protocol, be it the ISSB. There's so many bank specific. I mentioned the PCAF. So in case that you worry or you're concerned about my special sector's guidance, I'm happy to help you with in a bilateral talk on how to address it. But let me congratulate once again to the contributions about the local academic world here in Jordan.
This year, we've been working on aviation sector with my students for research on the airports and with the airlines. It has to be two different sustainability reports.
Yes, and this is exactly because this is different cup of teas. The aviation airports is one topic, again addressed, for instance, by us in Switzerland, and then the international aviation is an own quite complex topic to be addressed at global scale, and they have different frameworks and conditions, but both and everybody needs to be part of the solution, actually. So nobody stands out, nobody can exclude himself or herself from our global journey towards sustainability.
Thank you, Dr. Mona, for really bringing in tourism as a key sector for Jordan, aviation, NGOs, and academia. Excellent point. Please introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Sarah. I used to be at Jordan Strategy Forum, but about a year ago, I started my PhD in the US in economics. And I'm just here for the summer break, but so it's nice to be with you all. And I wanted to thank the panel. They hinted at this, but I wanted to ask a question in a different way. So the World Bank estimates the financing gap for SMEs in the MENA region to be around $240 million. And the issue is that with the increased the motion towards only financing companies that have ESG reporting could become an obstacle for SMEs who are struggling to implement these initiatives or to report or to issue ESG reports. If large companies are struggling with data and with collecting that type of information, I can only imagine what SMEs are facing. So I wonder if you would have any insight on how we could make this more of an opportunity for SMEs to attract financing and not an obstacle for them to further increase the financing.
Thank you, Dr. To be Sarah, inshallah, for that very important questions, because Dr., as you know, SMEs represent the bulk of the private sector in Jordan. So would you like to take one more question and then?
Yes.
Okay. The gentleman in the middle, please. Yes.
Hi, Mr. Haaland. May I ask you, do you think that you mentioned those sleeping companies?
Can you share your name?
I'm Omar Dawood. I'm a governance expert and a lawyer, and I'm representing NAMA strategies. May I ask you, do you think those who are ignoring ESG, whether as companies or as states, would at some point become isolated from international markets?
Good question.
Thank you so much. One more?
One more. Three.
Okay, take three. So one more, please. The lady right here, please.
صباح الخير. أريج عبيدات, the General Manager of CRIF Information Technology Solutions Company. I've been working with entities, organizations, banks, universities in implementing an ESG scoring platform through one of our platforms. Basically, the main takeaway that all those ecosystem leaders are aware of the importance of ESG, and they are implementing an ESG strategies, whether within their social governance or environmental roadmaps. But the main challenge we've seen through the implementation of such ESG scoring platform is how to encourage the ecosystem in terms of customers or suppliers, even how they would go through this ESG data disclosure, and what is it for them, why do they need to have an ESG certificate, and so on. So I would like to ask from the European, maybe the regional experience you have, what are the best practices in increase the adoption of disclosing ESG data, even when it comes to the green finance strategy within the Central Bank of Jordan? We still have some difficulties in encouraging the SMEs or corporate customers for the banks to come in and fulfill this survey, especially that it's not mandated so far from the Central Bank.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Doctor, over to you.
Yes, in reverse order, I would start with ESG rating and disclosure. And yes, there are a lot of websites where you can find already today the ESG rating of companies. And my company, Swiss Climate, actually earns quite some contracts with companies trying to improve their ESG rating. So you start at some point in time, you produce your first report, you get a rating, and then that's only the beginning of the sustainability journey I was talking about. People ask, can you help us to improve our ESG rating? And yes, we can do that. And you go through the data bit by bit, you look into the strengths and the weaknesses of the report, and you try to improve the strength, and you try to erase lack and unclarity on the weakness part. So with this, you are getting every year better ESG ratings and rankings, and there is a clear benefit. This is why companies actually ask us to do this. They invest their money in us helping them to improve, and that often results in also some transition programs where the company itself doesn't only deliver data, but they actually start processes to engage, for instance, their employees in their management, or where they have their suppliers engaged in jointly reducing their greenhouse gas emissions. So many activities are starting as a result of trying to get a better ESG rating and ranking. So yes, there is a clear benefit, and such a platform, such a transition process might also be useful here in the Arab world. I'm not fully aware of whether such a rating system has been established. If not, that's maybe a very good idea here to start. Coming to your question, whether or not companies who are ignorant on ESG might be kicked out of the market in the future, my answer is they're kicked already out today. So don't wait for the future. This is happening right now, right here. And be sure that your company is one of those laggards, because you will find it only in your numbers. Your return on investment might go down rapidly, particularly if you trade with international clients and customers. So this is a very fast development. It started 2018-19 through a few crises, pandemic and so on. Things were slower than expected. But in 2024, I can safely say that those laggards who don't have an ESG report have a problem. And as I tell you, SAP is reducing the number of their suppliers from 14,000 down to 6,000 or 7,000. And those who got kicked out are exactly those laggards who don't deliver such reports. Then your question on SMEs. Yes, same. Switzerland is a country where the majority of companies are not big companies with 500 employees or more, but small and medium. And luckily, they don't fall under the mandatory disclosure requirements as of now. So the mandatory elements are for the large companies. They are aware, they deliver, they invest. SMEs don't have to, but they feel already a certain pressure because, again, they're part of the supply chain, and the supply chain means there is a big player in their client list, and that big player asks them, by the way, can you help me to deliver my Scope 3 emission data by telling me how intensive your product is that you're supplying to us? So there is a pressure coming from legislation for large companies that also arrive as SMEs. How do they address this? There's own tools for SMEs. You want to check out, for instance, a tool called ESG to Go, which is a specific tool tailor-made for SMEs with their limited amount of data and human resources. Still, they can deliver the minimum requirement needed for them to remain part of the supply chain.
Okay. Thank you, first of all, for the excellent questions and the efficient answers, Doctor. So we're going to take another round of questions, starting with Dr. Rasha, Diyat, and the gentleman, and then Samer Zawaide. Okay, please, Dr. Rasha.
Thank you, Dr. Haarold, for your insightful points and comments. Actually, it's not a question, it's just a comment. Well, first of all, I wish that your next visit to Jordan and your presentation will include so many Jordanian companies and the success stories. Second thing, I agree with Dr. Samer regarding the net zero, and I want to let you know that ASE has already joined the net zero initiative implemented by UNSSE, and joined this initiative on May this year, and we will start implementing this plan, this net zero plan. The second thing I want to talk about or to comment is we, as Amman Stock Exchange, started with ASE 20 companies, and our project now, or our plan, and this strategic plan is to go further to ASE, the first companies or the companies listed in the first market. So the plan is raise awareness among these companies about ESG, then about the platform that Ms. Arij mentioned. We already started this idea with some of different institutions and discussing this point regarding, for example, we have S&P, we have Refinitiv. They have already this kind of platform that all companies should introduce or should mention and fill these information about sustainability. For example, either GRI, ISSP, whatever principle that we are following. Of course, as Amman Stock Exchange, we are following GRI. So they have to disclose all these information and fill all these information in this platform. The first step will be optional, and the second will be mandatory for these companies. Of course, we will have awareness sessions, we will have webinars, everything. And the most important thing, that they will have ranking, as Dr. Haarold mentioned. They will have ranking and they will have score. And this score will help us to introduce or to issue an ESG index. And this is our project or our aim till 2026. So at the end, we will have an ESG index that will include all companies that will have sustainability report or sustainability information that meet our standards and our requirements. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Rasha. How would you like to reflect on that?
I would just once again use the opportunity to congratulate Amman Stock Exchange for its pioneer role in really asking the members, at least the AEC 20 members, to deliver such information and data. It will be in the benefit of those members. It's, of course, at the beginning, always a little pain and an extra effort, but yes, it will pay back. It will pay back, and I would even recommend those other countries here in Jordan who are not yet member of ACE, maybe because they are not traded publicly, still to consider producing such report following the same guidance for consistency reasons, because what today is new will become a standard in the near future, and those who do not deliver or don't feel the pressure to do it now, they might fail and fall back. So follow this guidance for sure. And this is, to me, by the way, not mandatory yet, because people choose whether they want to be member of the Amman Stock Exchange or not. So it's an obligation, but it's voluntary. They decide to do so. And a next step, watch out, 2028, 2030, there might be legislation, maybe from the Jordan government, I don't know. There might be a legislation asking everybody to deliver such data, and who doesn't deliver breaks Jordanian law, which is different from just applying to be member of the stock exchange. Watch out. Things are very dynamic. They're moving very fast, and it's already the case in Europe. Those who do not deliver break European law.
Thank you for that. And hopefully we can gather in 2026 and learn more about the ESG index, inshallah. The second question, I think, a gentleman in the back, and then Mr. Samer Zawaide.
Good morning, or good afternoon, actually. Thank you very much for Jordan Strategies Forum, actually, for organizing this, and of course, the sponsors of this event. In fact, I have few points. Maybe I should introduce myself first. My name is Dr. Hamza Jaradat. I am a freelancer, investment and economic consultant. Few points. The first one, is it about reporting only? What about the quality of these reportings? Nobody can certify these reports, what's in them, actually. I talked to Mazen Wadaifi several times about this. Who's gonna check on these reports and make sure they are in line with the best practices? This is the first point. The second point I have, it's international versus local or domestic companies. Yes, I understand the potash company, for example, international company, there is a lot of motivation, for example, to implement ESGs because people watch abroad. Local companies, nobody forces them. This puts some disadvantage, I think, to these committed companies who are doing ESGs. Nobody can tell me ESGs doesn't have a cost. Actually, it does have a cost. From my previous experience, I worked lately before I finished my retirement with Social Security Investment Fund. I'm not here to talk about them here, but what I have noticed, in fact, committing with ESGs might be disadvantageous also to some institutions and companies in the market. So I would like to hear Dr. Haarold intake on these points. Thank you very
Thank you,
much.
Dr. Hamza. So 2 points on the checking and validation aspect and also on really incentivizing national companies. I'd like to maybe take the last question from Samir.
Can I, sorry, Dr.
Yes.
That's why I think a national strategy is needed. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Maybe one more from the floor and then we can hear your reflections. Samir Zawaide over there, please. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Shada. Thank you very much for the organizers. My name is Samir. I'm an independent engineer and I'm also working at HTU as industrial fellow. I have two parts. The first part is the reporting of the energy and environment numbers. For the energy, you should have a baseline and then you should show how much improvement you have done during the reporting year. The same applies to the greenhouse gases, scope 1, 2, and 3. And I haven't seen any of them here. Also in energy, we use usually the EUI, how much energy you are consuming per unit of area, production, and so on and so forth. The second part is for the Arab Potash company. We in Jordan have a ongoing project. It's called the Long-Term Strategy for Low Carbon and Climate Resilience. So this is an ongoing project funded by the World Bank, and it is going to be finalized within a couple of months. So we do have scenarios for low carbon and decarbonization by 2050. So this is will show the pathways in 7 sectors. One of them is the industrial sector, of course. So we do have that, and we had public discussions. Unfortunately, the Arab Potash was not one of them, but the important thing here is to focus on energy efficiency in addition to renewable energy, because I heard that some of the users of energy are concerned about the grid capacity and so on and so forth. But there are so many other interventions on energy efficiency that you can do and report, and we haven't seen that. So people are focusing on renewable energy. And of course, maybe this is a private question for the Arab Potash, but how are you keeping the environment and depleting the Dead Sea? So this is something that is hard to understand. Thank you very much.
So thank you very much, Samir. Maybe just to build on your point with the long-term strategy, of course, for your benefit, for the audience, Jordan also issued its climate change policy last year, which has a net zero support direction, not a commitment as a country, but it's at least a framework that can, I think, guide everyone towards net zero. So I'm going to allow Dr. Harald to answer those two-part questions.
Yes.
And maybe even if our colleague from Arab Potash would like to comment in the end, that would be more than welcome. So please, Doctor.
Yes, thank you. And I enjoy questions at that level of detail. Being an engineer by myself, I think we need to follow up bilaterally afterwards. But in a nutshell, first of all, you're absolutely right. What your company needs to do at the very beginning is to understand where it starts off. And this is what I showed in that sustainability journey slide. It starts with understand, be it your energy balance, be it your CO2 footprint. Then it goes to strategize, to transform, and then to show and disclose. So I'm fully with you. This is part of the homework that needs to be done, and that means a lot of work, number crunching work for us engineers. Absolutely agree. I take it that most of your intervention was more of a comment than a question, but I tell you, we want to exchange later on to see whether I can be of any help in the practical terms. That brings me to the second point about the data quality, and that is a core topic and key topic. So I actually have been helping in 2022 one of the big 4 companies in Switzerland on how to come to grips on the assurance question. Because we all know that company reports are not only to be published, but they are to be assured. This is a good old tradition when it comes to financial reports, but now the non-financial reports need to be assured on the same footing. And this is a relatively young topic for assurance companies. They are aware of it and they have been preparing. I myself have helped to hire 30 people within 6 months to get on board to this Big Four company to make sure that there's sufficient staff and sufficient knowledge on how to do it. But it remains, it still in 2024, it is a challenge, because while we have very clear and very well established standards for the assurance of financial reports, this is not one-to-one the same footing for non-financial, and this includes sustainability. Last point that I want to make is that a lot of companies in Europe, at least, tend to merge those financial and non-financial reports into an integrated report. You've heard of that maybe. So they no longer issue an annual report and a sustainability report, but an integrated report that covers all of the aspects and all of the elements. And this is to be signed by the CEO. Whenever somebody needs to sign, he or she wants to ensure that each and every data in that report is correct. Otherwise, I'm not going to give my signature. And that is a hell of a lot of activity within a company to not only find and collect the data and put it in the report, but to ensure that the quality is at the level as requested by the CEO. So this is indeed a new topic. And here, major companies need the help of assurance companies and others to make sure that this non-financial elements are at the same level of quality as the financial data.
So it sounds like maybe assurance will be the topic of next year's, one of the topics for next year's discussion. So we're going to give the microphone to Mr. Dr. Samer from our Potash, followed by Mr. Mazen Wadaifi, and then I'll close this session. Yes. Briefly, please, gentlemen. Thank you.
Thank you for the valuable comments. And I just want to comment on the points raised by our colleague. I will switch to Arabic, actually, in order to express the answers in a better way. بالنسبة للسؤال الأول فيما يخص الانرجي، احنا في البوتاس العربية يعني تبعنا نهج التخطيط مش فقط على مستوى استراتيجية شاملة للشركة. احنا في عندنا استراتيجية فرعية للطاقة، وفي عندنا استراتيجية فرعية للمياه. هاي الاستراتيجيات أيضا من ضمنها أهداف إلى علاقة بالإفشنسي، إلى علاقة بالانرجي اوديتس، وكمان we are looking to more green sources of energy. فهو framework متكامل بيطلع على جميع الجوانب اللي ممكن احنا نطور فيها ممارسات الاستدامة في الشركة. وبنشمارك also، احنا ما بنطلع بس على البوتاس من منظور جوا الأردن. وبنشمارك يعني مع شركات كبرى، نيوتريين على سبيل المثال، الشركة الكندية، بنتفرج على K+S الألمانية، بنتفرج حتى على الشركات من الجانب الآخر ICL المنافس الرئيسي لنا. فالسو we try to benchmark and adopt the best practices. بالنسبة للموضوع الثاني فيما يخص الديد سي، أنا ما بدي أعلق عليه صراحة، لأنه هذا الموضوع له أبعاد أخرى، له بعد له علاقة بنهر الأردن وتغيير مسار نهر الأردن، له علاقة إنه في شركة على الجانب الآخر عم تستغل الموارد أكثر. إحنا بنحاول إنه عملياتنا دائما تعزز خلينا نحكي الاستعمال لمياه البحر الميت. جزء من عملياتنا بيرجع للبحر، عندنا ووتر ريسايكلينج. فبعتقد الموضوع له أبعاد أخرى غير موضوع استخراج البوتاس، طبعا بالإضافة للعوامل المناخية، التغير الحراري، وكان في مشروع الريد ديت لأسباب يعني سياسية ربما توقف هذا المشروع. فالموضوع ما بنقدر نطلع عليه من منظور فقط إنه نصنع بوتاس. في عندك نهر الأردن، في عندك شركة في الجانب الآخر، في عندك عوامل سياسية وقفت مشروع الريد ديت. فهاي كلها بدنا ناخذها بعين الاعتبار. شكرا.
شكرا جزيلا دكتور سامر. وإذا ممكن نعطي المداخلة الأخيرة للسيد مازن. في مايك تاني لو سمحت. Thank you. It's working.
Thanks to that. Okay. As I'm told that. Yeah. Well, yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much. Well, my dear Hamza, well, thank you very much. We talked a lot of times on several issues with regard to the capital market, but I'm sure my answer is always the same with regard to the compliance with the standards of the sustainability and ESG reporting. We have a quality assurance team at the Amman Stock Exchange who ensures the compliance of listed companies with the GRI in particular. And correct me, Dr. Rasha. So the team ensures exactly the compliance of each item of the GRI of the listed companies. And Dr. Rasha was very clear in her presentation with regard to compliance of several issues with regard to the compliance of listed companies, the ASC 20 in particular. So, and also we had held several training workshops for and I think a lot of people here at this. You had a training with the UNDP, with the IFC, with all these international organizations that familiarized you with the latest international practice, and how should you prepare your reports with regard to compliance with the ASG standards, and in particular the GRI now with the Amman Stock Exchange. So yeah, so this is my answer to you, dear friend Hamza.
We're coming to the close of our discussion. I must apologize, gentlemen, because Dr. Nasreen, advisors were sort of at the end of the program, but it's very interesting discussion. I want to thank you all actually for raising so many important questions. I know we can go on longer. This is really a call to JSF to keep gathering us for these very important discussions. So thank you for everyone's active engagement. Thank you, Dr. Haaland, for your insights, to our panelists and moderators and our dear audience. I'd like to welcome now back to the stage Her Excellency Nasreen Barakat, the CEO of Jordan Strategy Forum, to close this event. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Dr. Rasha. Thank you, Your Excellency, Mr. Mazen, Dr. Rasha, and our distinguished speakers. Actually, it was very, very interesting, and we learned a lot. I'm sure that many of the companies here will be building on your experience in the coming period. And also, I'm very proud, to be honest. I'm looking today, it was very interesting to go through our journey. And we are here in Jordan very proud where we are today, being pioneer and being leader in some fields, specifically in this field. I would like to mention that tomorrow there will be a one-to-one meeting with Dr. Haaland for some companies who expressed their interest to discuss their own reports or their attempt to produce reports in the coming period. Thank you again for being with us. It was a pleasure. Thank you.